Hey folks, had a few things pop past my view. They didn't come up on the radar, so to speak. Number one being some changes to Raspberry Pi OS, in specific Bullseye. Actually, they're all common sense changes. I don't know why. Well, I do, because this was aimed at students, aimed at hobbyists. But it's a default bad practice. And yeah, anyways, I'm sure IT people have been screaming up and down for this for a long time on Pi. We complain about it with everything else too. Default usernames and passwords, bad news. Always change usernames and passwords. Never use them. It's just a bad practice, especially if you never change it. I'm sure there are scores, that's probably an understatement, a vast percentage of consumer networking devices, even consumer computers, are using default usernames and passwords or no password at all. Bad news, bad news, bad boy, bad boy. Anyway, Raspberry Pi Foundation has fixed that. The new wizard that runs will actually walk you through creating a new username as well as a more secure password, or at least a better password. I would, if you're not familiar with them, look up passphrases. Much better. Walks you through just the basic settings, some changes to headless setup. They've now added the settings button. Oh, let me just show you there. And yes, I have user account control enabled, even on my home PC. So if you're going to do a new system using the newest version of the imager, I'm going to run through this just as a what if. They've now added the settings icon right up front. It's no longer, I think it was Control-Shift-1. I'll put at the bottom what it was. You don't have to actually hit the keys to bring that menu up. You just hit the settings icon. So you can set this as defaults for everything you do or for this session only. So let's just change this to yeah, you got it, right? We want to enable secure shell, and we're going to change, and this is not the username I use, but yeah, and then just change your password. You can pre-configure Wi-Fi for the Wi-Fi devices. What are we at? 3A plus, all of the zeros, none of them have Ethernet. The 3B has Ethernet, but the others don't. You can pre-configure your SSID and etc. Set your wireless LAN country. Oh, that's annoying. You can't actually grab. Oh, wow. Come on, guys, really? You can't, can I hit U and bounce down? Oh, that's not even supported. Okay, so there's a slight glitch. You'll have to wheel mouse down. I don't know, maybe I cannot grab that. Yeah, page down doesn't work, end doesn't work, shift end doesn't work. Typing U to go to US doesn't work. So you'll have to wheel all the way down. Oh no, you can arrow. The arrow works. That's mildly annoying. Oh, I'm sure it's already on the bug list. All right, anyway, set your time zones, default keyboard. You can do that. You can enable telemetry or turn it off. I did a whole rant on this last year with pinging Microsoft repositories by default. Anyway, save it. Save it. No indication that it's saved. Okay. So they still got a few little things to work on. I'll put this down in the description for today's video. And yeah, it's worth reading. It's worth running through the manual process of removing the Pi user from current installations. Just common sense. All right, see you guys over on the bench. Okay, so now we're over on the bench. Couple little ESP32, Raspberry Pi 02W. Was working on other options to our SDR control idea, trying to get some of this stuff out of the way. There's another little touch screen option, bin of random parts. Kind of annoyed because I cannot find my volume knob, potentiometers. Anyway, for the next part of this with some additional expansion on it. Anyway, worked over a little bit more with Chris talking about his ideas for building this, which the dude is way ahead of me on the road. I'll turn this around so it's at least the text is the right direction. We were talking about different ways of building this out, and creating our positive common rail became a little bit of a kerfuffle in just the common sense ways to do it. And what Chris did is he ordered and sent me, let me set this aside for a minute, great little kit that he found. I'll have to ask. I think it was on Amazon, but it may not have been. Either way, link will be down in the description for wherever it was from. Comes with a whole load, and they are perforated, so they're separable pins, male and female pins. Great job. And a bunch of proto board, several different sizes. Actually, that one, that's the same size as our breakout board. Pretty cool. I kind of only glanced at this the other day. So you get 2, 3, 4 different sizes of proto board, which is nice because they actually have the end pad. Screw terminals, jumpers, jumpers. I thought those days were long gone. I remember how much I hated jumpers, and then they came out with dip switches. And I got to where I hated dip switches even more than jumpers. So that's a blast from the past, but it does give a lot of configuration options. So this is a cool little kit. I'll get the info from Chris and post it up in the description for today's video. So there's a couple different things, and just, hey, that's, real high quality, guys. There we go. The little knob or latch came off. So one of the ideas that we came up with was to do something similar to this. Do I have? Yeah, I do. I have it set at 20 already over here. And so what we're talking about doing is creating, you know what, maybe I should go with a wider board for this, at least for the example. Let me go to the, let's use the 20 that's the same as our board, our breakout board, just for the example purpose. So, I'll edit some of this out here. So the idea is, because this is going to be built in a box, still not sure what type of a box. For my use case, as I lean over to grab it, I have a rather large wooden box that needs to be repaired. The little piece came off, so I'll glue that. Oh, I can't get, there you go. I'll glue that back in. But what I'm thinking about is making this a multi-home or multi-device box for several different functions, including a Raspberry Pi 3A Plus, and then breaking out power and etc. here, having it in a nice stained box with buttons, knobs, display up top. At least that's my idea for my config, because I've got quite a few things I want to do that go beyond the scope of a simple project box. But anyways, so the idea he and I were talking about is we're just going to create a 20-pin bridge of sorts and bring in our 3.3 volt to the pad. Actually, let's skip over one just so everything's lined up for your view. And then bring the positive leads from all our switches over to our rail, as in this example, and then feed off the appropriate GPIO pin. Because remember, we're bringing these pins down, not up. So that was the easiest way that we could think of. And basically, it's just going to be soldering these DuPont pins onto it and then creating a bridge across the back so that this becomes our 3.3 volt rail. And then we'll attach switches off of there into the appropriate GPIO and out through our box. And that's the next part of the build. The reason for using the perf board is I can also come back and make this part of a finished assembly in that box, for example, like this, and then wire in, or hard solder in any additional components, or, we talked about I have an I2C, oh, there it is, I2C OLED. This also gives me additional termination points to break that out so I can move it farther away than just the limit of the cable. You get it? Got it? Good. But yeah, so we've had a lot of prototyping ideas. We're going to try and do a video call sometime this week. I'm hoping Chris will get over his shyness and say, yeah, okay, put me on camera. And then we can talk about the what's, the where's, the why's, and how he came up with the idea, how I came up with the idea. Just kind of show you the whole mindset of how we got where we're at with this project. Anywho, that's it for today. It's just a quick video, and I'll see you guys in a few days. Be good.